Greetings, fellow Earthlings,
and welcome to this tiny garage.
We will begin this week with a flashback to our previous vacuum leak issues. After using our pickle jar based device to fix our intake cuff vacuum leak, we found that we still had a leak from where the brake booster hose connects to the intake manifold adapter and where the intake manifold adapter connects to the intake manifold. Oh no! Last week, with the help of Kelsey and our new Ancel Diagnostic leak tester, we were able to test our new intake manifold adapter that I got from Porsche. During the test, I was able to see that that did solve the leak from the brake booster vacuum hose that I'm connecting right there. However, it didn't solve the leak from where the adapter joins the manifold itself. That makes me suspect that that bolt on the right-hand side might be stripped, perhaps, and that's why we can't tighten it all the way. To be able to take it off the list, I made a temporary gasket from a Ziploc bag. And then we found, yes, there was still a fairly significant vacuum leak from somewhere way in the back. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Combined with our 2 oil leaks and my self-inflicted transmission snafu, the engine had to come out. Thankfully, Kelsey was able to help and lend her skills to find that vacuum leak. Kelsey kindly informed me that I had a leak from my resonance tube. I think you'd agree that vacuum leaks are much less stressful when Kelsey helps you find them. Hold on, what's the dog doing? Oh yeah, subscribe now. Delta says thank you. Armed with that morsel of knowledge, we trundled off to the Porsche dealer and bought what we thought was a new resonance tube. It turned out that they had sold us one for the Boxster and not the slightly larger one that we need for the 911. And that brings us to this week. Now, armed with what I'm assured is the correct resonance tube, I begin to start making it that I can put the new one in, and I start thinking and going down perhaps a dangerous path. What I was thinking is something we've looked at before, is that the Bank 1 and Bank 2 part of these engines are very, very similar, like mirror images of each other, kinda, but not quite in places. Therefore, if my intake manifold adapter, which is brand new, is leaking, it must be because of something to do with the manifold that I'm connecting it to. Could we then swap the intake manifolds over and put the Bank 2 manifold on Bank 1? The more I looked at these 2 plastic intake manifolds, the more they did seem to be exactly the same. Even down to the Bank 2 intake having a blank over that exact same manifold adapter port that is the problem on Bank 1. Bank 2 is just the 6 10mm bolts to get the intake manifold off and another 10mm to remove the B+ junction box. Bank 1 here is those 6 bolts again, but we just had to loosen up the AOS vent pipe that goes across the top of that manifold. The 2 8mm that hold onto that manifold adapter also hold a bracket for the solenoid, and that solenoid allows the engine computer to turn on and off the vacuum power that's going to the resonance tube in the back of the engine. There's our temporary Ziploc bag gasket that is admittedly a little crispy. With that Bank 1 manifold in hand, it's easy to tell that yes, that right-hand thread has been pulled out. It's damaged. I'm not sure how you're supposed to repair that. And so that does actually give some credence to this slightly elaborate manifold swapping plan. And so let's see if this works. Having these manifolds off is also a good opportunity on a new rebuild engine just to have a look around and see if we have any coolant or oil where it shouldn't be. Thankfully, I can report that everything is dry and looks good. So our new Bank 2 is our old Bank 1. Now we're not going to ever try to have this be connected to our intake manifold adapter anymore. And so I'm going to use some 5900 sealant here to make sure that this is no longer a problem. If ever this is more of an issue, then it's time just to replace this manifold. But I hope that it will just be fine sitting on bank 2 with this blank on it, all sealed up. Other than swapping over that blank, the B+ junction box has this little metal clip on the corner, and we just need to swap that over. And that's it. Now your bank 1 manifold is a bank 2 manifold. I now know that they are exactly the same part number. There it is there. Here I'm putting on my new bank 1 manifold. These are just 10 mils, 6 of them, tightened to 10 Newton meters.
I would like if you would hit the like button.
Bank 2, more or less the same deal. Removing my kitchen paper there to stop anything getting into my orifices. Now with that manifold loose, I'm then going to put in these other parts. Now here's my new resonance tube. I now know that without doubt, you need to vacuum test your engine before you install it into the car, because all of this stuff is way easier with the engine just sitting in front of you. So anyway, forewarned is forearmed, folks. Time now to install our front intake distributor with all new cuffs and associated Jubilee clips following our slight indiscretion in episode 55. Squashing those cuffs towards the center of the intake distributor really helps installation, and then push them out from the center once you get it in place. And then when tightening all of these Jubilee clips or hose clamps, however you want to call them, I'm trying to make it that they are tightened in a way that's completely accessible when the engine is still in the car. With both intake distributors pretty much installed, it's time to put the bolts into the bank 2 manifold, 6 10 mils, tightened up to 10 Newton meters. Just doing a bit of a jingle jangle just to make sure everything goes into place. With the help of some white lithium grease, I'm now installing the engine temperature sensor grommet and the sensor itself. The final piece of the puzzle is attaching the B+ junction box with its 10mm.
Thank you for watching Stuart Nunn in Sussex, UK.
This part's really easy. Also, just connecting the vacuum line that goes from that fuel pressure regulator on the bank 2 fuel rail, and that connects to the passenger side cuff on the intake distributor. On the driver's side, it's that vent valve, and that's really all there is to it. One fantastic thing is, thanks to the local Porsche dealer, I was able to find that squiggly hose there, which it turns out is actually for the 4-wheel drive version of this car, and that's why they couldn't find it. They told me for months that it was no longer being made, and that was it. But it's actually for a different car, and so that is the right part. Everything sits nice, and I'm very happy about that in a blatantly nerdy way. Doing the final tighten down here on all of these hose clamps. And a thank you goes out to Yogi's Garage. Hello Yogi, Mama and Papa. This handy cordless Milwaukee screwdriver that they kindly sent me has this adjustment collar on it which will make the screwdriver stop at a particular torque setting, which is very handy for situations like this where you want to get a bunch of the same fasteners to the same tightness but not squish the bejeepers out of it.
Hit the notification bell, it's up there.
Yes, please. Now at the back of the engine, we need to connect up our new resonance tube. This is all new vacuum hosage. The entire vacuum system, I replaced all the Ys and the elbows and the hoses, etc. Here we go. We are connecting up our new intake manifold adapter to what was our bank 2 intake manifold. And we're hoping to fix all of the vacuum leaks now. I don't have a torque rating for those 8 mils that hold on the intake manifold adapter. I'm going by feel really. We don't have a brake booster hose to connect there, so we're just going to use a glove with some zip ties.
Hey Rami in Hesperia, California. Thanks for being awesome.
And lo and behold, we have a leak still from where the intake adapter connects to the manifold. I tried tightening it as much as I dare, but we're going to go to plan C, B, maybe. What plan are we on? I don't know. So I'm going to take that off. And then I made this little manifold gasket using a Fel-Pro rubber fiber sheet, as it says there. Some basic tools. And this is petroleum safe and all kinds of safe. It's the right thing you're supposed to use. I don't know if you're ever supposed to have a gasket on this manifold adapter. This is completely reversible, but if it works, it's going to solve our vacuum leak. If any of you folks know what's going on out there for why I have this leak, even on supposedly a fresh manifold, please let me know. Here goes nothing then. The entire fate of this project relies on no smoke coming out of this engine. No pressure. I'm looking, here we go. Feeling hopeful, trying to make sure I find any wisp of smoke that might be coming out. And there wasn't any. Success! Whee! And with that huge relief, unfortunately, that's all we have time for this week. Thank you very much for watching. Till next time.